All right, so what we're going to do is if we look at the main page, it leaves a lot to be desired. So if we look at this, yeah, I think that kind of looks cool. But what we could do is we could do a couple of things. First of all, we could set the color of all of this text to, well, a random color. And I can show you how to do that. But what we should do is we should say collect the squares and avoid the circles. So in order to do that, let's go and we're going to literally copy some code. All right. So we're going to copy the spawn square. Okay. And just to make things easy, I'm going to try to do this all in one. We're going to spawn square and we're going to also yeah, we'll just actually do this one by one because there's too much gap in between. So we'll spawn the square and we will paste it right in the title scene here. Okay, so add in some space. I'm doing that more for visual purposes. Okay, and we can go ahead and we can actually delete all the physics body stuff because this will not have any physics attached to it. Okay, and don't worry about these either. So we need to spawn the square, and we're also going to spawn the circle actual. So find the circle actual, and we're going to add that into the title scene here. Okay, so we're going to add a square, we're going to add in a circle. Okay, and then we'll just delete that as well. Delete any errors if you have any. And then we're going to add in two more labels. Okay, we're going to copy that, and we're just going to simply paste it in here. Now, what we need to do now is we need to set up our own variables here. So we need to have a variable. We'll call this square title. Make that equal to sk sprite node, and then we'll add in another variable here. We'll call this circle title. Make it equal to sk sprite node. We'll call this variable. We'll call this square label title. Make that equal to sk label node. Right, and then we're going to add in var square, and we'll call this circle label title, and again sk sprite node. Perfect. So square title, circle label, and everything here. Now what we need to do is we need to go back down to our, for example, our square collect, and we need to delete the random x because we're not setting that in here. And we're going to say this is square title. And square size works. Okay. Make sure it's square title, and the x will just be, let's just say 400 for now. Okay, because we're going to set this up. Okay, we're going to add in square title here. And the name can be square title name. Okay, and then circle actual will become circle title. And I just realized that circle title has to be an sk shape node. Because remember, the circle actual is not a title here. So I'm just going to add this in here, just like that. And then we have square title or square label title. And we're just going to simply move that in here. Now the font size is going to be something like 30. Okay. And, you know, putting it actually in the center plus about 100 is actually not a bad idea. And we'll say collect colon, and then we're going to put the square title over. Okay, so the next thing is we're going to call this circle title or circle label title, and I'm just going to copy and paste all this in here. Let's make this 30 as well, and we will say the circle label title is going to be circle or avoid, and then we're going to add that in here. Now, we'll just put this mid-center here. Okay. And let's hop up to the top here. And circle label title has to be a SK label node. Now, we have to set up the text, but we also need to call, and these functions here actually, we'll call this spawn title square, and then this one here will be spawn circle or spawn title circle, and we'll call this spawn title collect, and spawn title avoid. So we've essentially set up everything. Let's kind of we'll go spawn title avoid, spawn title circle, spawn title collect, and then lastly, we'll do spawn title square. Let's take a look at how this looks so far. And it's probably not going to look very good because we have to format it here, but yeah, essentially that's pretty good. 30 and 30 is, well, not exactly the best one here. We could probably make that 50 by 50. Okay, and let's say here is, yeah, collect and avoid. Okay, and that actually looks pretty good. And now what we need to do is we need to set up the squares here. So for example, the square, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy the CG point from the square collect title, and I'm going to add in it here, but I'm going to move it over. I'm going to say plus 300 or plus, let's say 100. So let's take a look at that. And you can see that, yeah, it's kind of working out. We're going to have to add in an offset. So the square size will maybe make 120. All right. And this is where you can kind of, yeah, I mean, 115 might be a bit better. And we'll add this as 150. Okay. So let's take a look at that. It'll say collect these, avoid these. All right. Now what we could also do is for the circle title here, I'll call this SK shape node here. Let's go and let's copy the circle CG point, and we'll paste it in the circle position here. And we will add in plus 15, and for the X here, we'll add in plus 150. I believe that's what we said here. Yeah, 150, and then it's roughly 15 more. So let's take a look at that. And yeah, there we go. Now for the title, we can see that we have the spawn title square, but we also have the labels here. So let's go to the labels. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll add in an offset. We will subtract 150 from the title label, and the title avoid will say that we'll subtract 150. So if you look at this, all that's going to happen here is that it's just going to move over. Now 150 was obviously too much, so let's say 120 instead. Now what I wanted to do is have it closer to the left-hand side. Having it in the center look good, but not really good. So yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for here. Now 100, we'll probably make this 90, and that's what it is. And so at this point of time in the games, you see that I'm fiddling around with a lot of settings. This is completely normal. This is what you do when you're doing that here. So we got collect and avoid. I think that looks awesome. Okay. And before we do anything, let's go back to our play the game here. We have to go and add in all of these items here. So we're going to say square label title dot remove from parent, and what we could actually even do is just literally copy these and paste it in here, delete the variables, and this method of copying that I'm showing you is really good when you have a lot of game objects. I mean, we only have 4 here, but remove from parent. So we only have 4 here, but you know, if you had like 50 of them, it'd save you a lot of time. Okay. So, and if you look at this here, we have to add in, and we'll actually add in the question mark each time. Okay, and there you go. Okay, there we go. So this concludes the tutorial.